Hey everyone, it's your favorite gentleman, Marcus Norman of Gentleman Style Podcast Show. And today I have a very special guest. So excited to have him on the show today. Him and his wife are right here in Virginia doing incredible work. They're retired and they look happy. All their pictures, all of their pictures, they're smiling, they're happy, they're living life to the fullest. And I think they are necessary and they're the absolute future. What we need to be paying attention to and listen to what they're doing in their enjoyable retirement years. You guys won't want to miss 1 second of this powerhouse speaker coming to Gentleman Style Podcast stage. So here we go. Hey family, it's your favorite host, Marcus Norman, the Gentleman Style Podcast Show. And you can find us anywhere on iTunes, iHeartRadio, Apple iTunes, Spotify, Facebook business page, Audible, radio.com, anywhere you get your podcast today. And so this man coming to the stage is absolutely phenomenal. I have been following his journey. Him and his wife are doing incredible things. They're on Instagram, blowing up, and they're touching lives and changing minds. And that's why I had to, when I reached out to this gentleman, I was so excited when he responded and agreed to be on the show today. They have developed and created a tiny home community for the past, congratulations, now 31 years, I believe, happily married, incredible. And for the past 14 to 15 years, they have created a tiny home community and village, just changing lives here in the Virginia market. And I think they're going to start taking off and really expanding to other territories. But we'll find out today. So without further ado, welcome the incredible Mr. Eric Hawkins. Welcome, brother.
Thank you.
I'm so glad to have you today. This is huge for me. To have you. And it is profound to have such a man like yourself on here, spilling some tea for us, my audience here, to just learn and to soak up wisdom. I always talk about this, and people say, but I don't think we do it. We need to learn from our elders, learn from people wiser, have been there, have done this. But I got to ask you, because what started this? What started this journey for you and your wife?
Ooh, we got tired. We got tired of being tired. To put it in a nutshell, we, as I tell the story online, we were like two ships passing in the night in our home, and we were running a heating and air conditioning company and a hair salon, fitness center, and day spa, all at the same time. And we had all the trappings of a successful life. We had the 3,000 square foot home. We had the cars. We have the 3 children. We have the businesses, but it didn't taste the way I thought it was going to taste. It didn't feel the way I thought it was going to feel. And I just didn't realize that all that came with a level of responsibility that took so much of me away from my wife and my children.
That's real. That is so real. That's super real. And I appreciate the honesty. I want to dive in. You've done the things. I feel like that's a mantra that's taught to all of us. Get the big house, get the college degree, get the job, pay the bills, get the pension, get the 401k. But the dynamic has changed, and you all adapted to what really suited y'all. So when you realized that this wasn't working for you and your wife and wasn't allowing you all the freedom to connect truly, when did that switch? Did something happen? Like, did you miss a birthday? Did you miss an anniversary?
Well, it was something in particular. So I'm a farm boy, raised in Virginia Beach, right by Bayside High School. My parents had a farm right there. And I'm up at 5 o'clock every morning. I did not realize that my middle child, after I got up out of the bed and went off on my day, that she hopped in the bed with my wife after I had long left. Well, there was one day that I was sick and I wasn't feeling too good. So I decided, you know what, I'm going to lay down, which wasn't a normal thing for me, and I'm going to stay home today. Well, I didn't realize my daughter came in the room expecting me not to be there, jumped in the bed, saw me, and screamed. She
Ouch.
screamed because she's not used to seeing me there. Matter of fact, she didn't really know, didn't realize who I was because I had my back was facing her, and she didn't know who I was for a hot second. And that was a once I realized what she was screaming and upset about, you know, that was a wake up call for me that I wasn't there as much as I thought I was. You know.
That's it. That's it. That's the sauce. That's what, oh
Yeah.
my gosh. That is tremendous.
Yeah.
That is a huge wake-up call. Do you remember how you felt? Did you feel hurt? Did you feel
Ooh.
sad? Did you feel betrayed? What?
Confused because I felt like, hey, I'm a great dad. I'm trying to be the best husband I could be, and so on and so forth. But after that moment, I really took stock and just analyzed everything I was doing from that point forward and realized I didn't want what I had just worked so hard to have if it was going to sacrifice my relationship with my wife and my children. It wasn't worth it.
I'll take that all day.
No.
You did something that was taboo, right?
Yeah,
No, I'm serious.
yeah.
COVID showed us that we
Hmm.
have all been focusing on the wrong things. We've been
Yes.
focusing on the jobs, we've been focusing on the careers, we've been focusing
Hmm.
on the bank account, we've been focused on everything else.
Hmm.
And so when COVID removed that,
Hmm.
you had to face the reality.
You had to face the reality. You had
You
to
had to
face
come
reality.
home.
I had faced that reality a long time ago. So in my office or in my truck, I've always had these little banners or words to live by, and they've changed a lot over the years. But now that you're bringing this to memory, one of the banners I had above my in my truck were the words "adapt or die," and I felt like, okay, if I keep going the route that I'm going, I am going to die, not physically, but emotionally. I was going to die. So I got with my wife. We talked. We really laid this whole plan out. And I said, see, in order for me to get more time, normally most people have to work harder to earn more money to get that time. But I didn't want to take on more debt to do it. And it wasn't a guarantee that time was going to be the result. So we decided let's go the opposite direction. Let's move out of this 3,000 square foot home and move into our travel trailer and live below our means and see what happens.
So I gotta ask. First off, I wanna dig a little deeper on the
Okay.
marriage because
Okay.
before I transition to what you and your wife specialize in today,
Mm-hmm.
um, how did you know your wife was your wife? What stuck out about her as
Ooh.
the woman she is that really said, "This is my future." 31 years,
Yeah,
right?
actually 32. Actually
Congrats.
32. Yeah, thank you. Um,
How did you know?
it was a culmination of a few things. And at the time, and don't these words are going to sound controversial, but when I saw that she didn't need me, and I know that sounds crazy, she was fully capable of taking care of herself. She was fully capable of doing everything herself. And she was going to allow me to be part of her life. Sometimes, for me, I can't speak for everyone, but some someone completes them. Well, in the early stages of a relationship and a marriage, that doesn't happen immediately. It takes time. And I love the fact that she was an independent woman that thought for herself and made her own decisions and was able to move and and travel in this world and make moves. And she and I together thought the two we fell in love with one another, but we also want to make sure that we were able to do things together and complement one another. See, she has strengths where I'm weak, and I'm strong where she's weak. And we realized that, and we felt like this could work. And over time, we decided to put this marriage together.
I'm sorry, y'all. I'm being selfish right now. When I see a couple that has made it, right? They say in business, just like in business, the statistic is 5 years. Most businesses fail before 5 years. When I come across a marriage that has withstood the test of time, we're talking politics, several elections, COVID-19, real estate crash, this crash. When I come across a marriage that has withstood the test of time, I gotta dig in. That's the core. So powerful. Now, this is a tip for our men, and we need your help with this. Okay. How did you convince your wife to go along into an RV? Because that is truly a phenomenal. Like, that's what if I mention to my girl right now, babe, we're gonna live in an RV, she might, what? We gotta give up the yard, we gotta give up what? Right, how did you do it?
I had to show her the bigger picture. I had to not just describe it, but prove to her that it could be done. And in our relationship, we have, at that stage of the game, we had started 2 hair salons, a hair salon first, then a hair salon, fitness center, and day spa, and a heating and air conditioning company. So we had done all those things. So I didn't have a whole lot of trouble convincing her that it could be done. But then we had to deal with the emotional part of it, that we as men most of the time don't have that level of. She was emotionally attached to her home. And I had to paint a picture that the experiences we're going to have in the future are going to far outweigh everything that's coming here right now. And I just need to make sure we're on Team Hawkins right now. And I want you to know and understand, I got you. I got you. You don't have to worry about anything. I got you. And I had to make sure that she felt that, understood that. And I had to reiterate it. Even when I didn't feel like she was weaning off a little bit, I just want to keep that in their top of mind, that I got you. And we're going to do this together. And then we have vision boards. We use the vision boards to plan out what exactly was going to happen when we make these next moves, and how long it's going to take, and what we're going to do, and so on and so forth. And I promised a trip to Paris in the process too. So it is what it is.
So there you have it, y'all. The secret is plan a trip to Paris. No.
There you go. That's it. That's it.
No. Vision. He led the charge in his marriage, y'all. That's what I'm hearing. He led the charge in his marriage, and he had to spread it out and make it plain and put it in languages that his wife can see, not only the goal behind his family, behind the family, but the heart of behind the family. Babe, I'm doing this for us. Let me show you how. And I think we dropped the ball as men in that arena, where we say it, but we don't give her the comfort of seeing it the way we see it.
Right. I like to use analogies that people could understand. When I'm in the heating and air conditioning world and people talk about refrigerant and freon and so on and so forth, well, I use the body that compresses the heart, and the refrigerant lines are the vessels, and people understand that. Well, with my wife, I remember I used this analogy, that we're going to be rebirthed. Now, in the birthing process, it's not just stressful for the mother, it is just as stressful for the child. The key is, it's a moment. And this moment, we're in this together. And when we come out of it, be reborn, I use the analogy, you're going to be happy that you went through this period of stress to get to it.
That's good. Woo! The beauty of this show is I get to take notes, and I get to leverage it. Oh my God. Absolutely phenomenal. Huge nuggets here. One more round of applause. So you made it plain for the missus. She got on board. Did she get on board right away? Did it take time? How many visions?
No, well, it was through a couple different things. We took our travel trailer over to Cape Charles quite a bit, and I'm sort of saying this backwards, but we would take that travel trailer to a campground over in Eastern Shore where we live now, and we spent the weekend and got to see for ourselves, could we do this? Because we had been using it for our travel for my son and I. We would do motocross racing all up and down the eastern seaboard here, and it was just our thing, just to hang out and race motorcycles and whatnot. But then it became a place for my wife and I to experiment with something, and we literally realized, oh my God, I've been here for 3 days, and we're not bumping into one another. We're not disagreeing with one another. Matter of fact, I got to read a few books, which I hadn't had to do. I wasn't able to read a book in a 3,000 square foot home, but I'm reading a book in 200 square feet. Tell me what changed there, you know? And it was those moments that we're like, okay, we can do this. We can do this. And all our friends, neighbors, even my employees thought I was completely crazy.
You did it. You broke the code and you showed the world, your wife, and your family that this is the outcome. I bet she again, if I'm on your Instagram, I see the smiles, I see the fruits of your labor. You guys are, I feel, are really enjoying the hard work you put in, because marriage isn't easy.
It is not easy. But let the truth be told, if it was, would you want it? Honestly, my father used to tell me all the time, if you ever out fishing, which I don't fish it that much, but if you ever catch a fish that don't put up a fight, throw him back in the water. He's sick. Something's wrong with him. If it's easy, I don't want it.
You gave me an analogy just now with fishing, but also most things in life that are worth it are hard. Anything that's worth its value is difficult. So that's why it takes 9 months to deliver a baby.
That's right. That's
huge.
Powerful.
Oh my gosh. So you went from the RV and transitioned, and you saw the solace, you saw peace, you saw parts of yourself that you hadn't seen living in the 3,000 foot, 4,000, 5,000 square. And you realize like you said, you and your wife went in a different direction, because most people say, okay, I got 3,000 square feet. This isn't enough. Let's go bigger. But instead, you guys went the other way and said, let's reduce it.
We went smaller because we moved into the KOA campground in Virginia Beach. And people are like, why did you choose a KOA campground? Because it's a resort. I had 3 swimming pools. I had an arcade. And if you're familiar with General Booth Boulevard, there's a little trolley that takes you down to the ocean front for $3, and it does round trips all night long up until 11, 12 o'clock at night. I was living on a resort, Paul. It was an amazing experience. And I love the fact I didn't have to maintain none of that stuff. Didn't have to maintain the pool, didn't have to cut no grass. My light bill was a whopping $50 a month from the $300 I was paying back in the day. It was amazing. I actually saved more money the first year than most people make.
So that saving and the value and the quality of life and being able to relax, live this stress-free, read the books, and gain more wisdom allows you to expand your mind and expand your family's mind. Living out there. What is it out there? What's out there that really is it the trees? Is it the atmosphere? Is it the air? I oftentimes, when I visit large developments or large communities that have a lot of trees, I feel like the air is cleaner. The oxygen.
So are we talking right here in Cape Charles here, my property here? It's a combination of all those things. When I'm on the property, we're the only tiny house village that's nestled between the Atlantic Ocean and the Chesapeake Bay. I'm 3 minutes away from either one. So I could be outside cutting grass and get the breeze off the Atlantic Ocean or a breeze off the Chesapeake Bay at any given time. Most people, when they come over here, particularly from Virginia Beach or Hampton Roads, they notice it's 5 degrees, 10 degrees cooler here when they get here than it was on the other side. Less concrete, less, traffic. Name your heat source is less of it.
Yeah. Powerful. So how long did it take you to launch, and what obstacles did you and your wife have to overcome in starting this new venture in your lives? Did you guys start this after you retired, before you guys retired?
No, there was a transition before this. See, in the transition while we're living at the KOA campground, we rented our house out to long-term renters. And it was a group that did drug rehabilitation, which I was so happy to let my house go for something of that nature, because last time I checked, it was like 5 people that came through there. Not 100%, but 5 people that came through there that are completely off of drugs now that I've met over the period of years. So I was so grateful my house was able to help somebody in that way. But their contract was coming up for renewal, and we decided we were going to put it on Airbnb. And from there, that's when things got crazy, because we go ahead. I'm sorry.
Go ahead. No, go ahead.
So the house generated so much income that first year I was able to buy another home in Wintergreen. And from there, for 4 years, we just kept getting more Airbnbs. We went from one house, 3,000 square foot home, that was the catalyst that opened up 19 Airbnb listings in 4 years. Wow, we're living in an RV at KOA Campground.
What? Wait. So wait a minute. So so after the first house and you saw the revenue from Airbnb, because you shot me just now. I thought you were going to say it was a nightmare. I did Airbnb, and the profits are there, but it's a hassle. It's people tend to destroy your stuff. Okay.
See, I think because we were already living tiny and wanted to keep the lifestyle that we have just fought so hard to get and sacrifice for, everything had to be automated. So we automated everything. We had 5 listings in Richmond, several in Norfolk, several in Richmond, and we had more in Virginia Beach. And it was insane. We never met a client or handed a key to somebody. I sat right there in that RV at KOA Campground, and all this was remotely happening all over the place.
Can you share an automation that really made it simple? Because that's a big thing, right? Making sure the tenant gets the key. Yeah. Can you share some automation?
We don't use keys. So we don't use keys. We use Wi-Fi locks. So these Wi-Fi locks, the moment you book, this lock is linked to Airbnb and other platforms, and it creates a code just for that guest. And that guest receives that code, and that code works at exactly our check-in time is 3 o'clock. So at 3 o'clock, that lock will unlock when they hit that code. They can come at 2:55 if they want to. Hit that code, they're not getting in. And at 10 o'clock, checkout time. Please you get a little message from us saying, please get all your belongings, because this lock will no longer accept your code after 10 o'clock. And the maids were automated. The cleaning services were automated, which allowed us to move to the next level where we start traveling around the country in the RV while running 19 Airbnbs remotely.
Incredible. Yeah. This is the sauce. How did you restock on toilet paper, because when I did my Airbnbs, I would give like wine, complimentary bottles of wine. mints, coffee selections because I had a Keurig in there. How did you restock?
Amazon.
Oh.
Amazon. Just press button, Amazon. Have the package sitting there and have the maid pick it up. When the maid comes in to clean, just take it in the house. That's it.
Simple.
Simple.
Airbnb automated.
Yeah. You have
to automated. The level of think on this gentleman, y'all, is phenomenal. That's why I told y'all in Jump, this is the future. This is how it's getting. This is because I imagine landlords just seeing this is like, yeah, I need to install a keyless code system because what's the tenant's going to do? There's no physical key.
Yeah,
I locked you out on purpose.
Yeah, and don't get me wrong, we have an emergency backup key, in a lockbox nearby, but I've only ever thought of. I've been doing this since 2017. I can only remember one time I ever had to use it.
That's a deal. That's easy. And you had to physically go out there, or you got one of the cleaners.
No. We know where the key is, and we let the client know there's an emergency key to left or the right, wherever it is, and here's the code for that lockbox, and that's it.
There you go. You all can automate this too. This is huge. Huge.
It is. I did not want to sacrifice the life I sacrificed to get for a business that I didn't want the business to overtake me again. That's all it was. So I had to automate things. When I would do webinars, or I would speak to my staff for the heating and air conditioning company, because mind you, I'm still running a heating and air conditioning company at the same time. And we would do these Zoom calls from wherever I'm at. My office staff would be like, Mr. Hawkins, please turn the camera around, because we don't want to see that lake you sitting beside, right?
You're on the beach sipping a mimosa. Right. Oh my God, some wine, some Chardonnay. Oh my God.
Yes. We had attended a meeting in Nags Head on the beach with wild horses walking right past our Jeep. We drove our Jeep onto the beach and we did our thing right there.
How did you manage the staff? Because production is at risk, right? That's the whole movement. You got a team, because HVAC is a physical job, right? I need people to be at their appointments, be at these people's houses, ordering supplies when they need to order equipment. So how did you still maintain high production levels while still being away from the business?
There was one person, the only employee my wife hired for Hawkins Heating and Air Conditioning. Her name was Concetta Hawk, not Hawkins, Hawk. And I basically handed the reins over to her. She ran that company, in some cases, better than I would. And I owe her so much. I could not automate the heating and air conditioning company as well as I automated heating short-term rentals. Sure. But having a great employee like Miss Concetta Hawk, and I got to call that young lady by her name, because she was the one that actually was the liaison between me and the company, to where that I was able to just make decisions on the fly like that.
How did your wife find her? Was it Indeed, Monster.com, family friend?
She used to be the secretary, the receptionist at her hair salon. And when I needed someone to be close to me to help manage some of the things I was doing on a regular basis. And my wife said, if that person's going to be that close to you, I'm going to hire them. I said, okay, you do your thing. She said, I don't need to look anywhere else. I know exactly who it's going to be. And it was Miss Concetta.
When your wife hired her, when you say you turned it over, did you also turn over the money aspect? Like, hey, I need you to do the deposits as well?
Miss Concetta used to jokingly say, Mr. Hawkins, if you don't act right, I'm going to take your check and give it to Miss Hawkins. Let me tell you a funny story. She monitored that money so tight. I'm on the road, my wife and I, on the road heading somewhere. I can't remember exactly where. But I pulled into a gas station to get some gas. And she's monitoring the credit card transaction. And she calls me After I fill up for gas, well, I just topped off to fill up. And she calls, Mr. Hawkins, we got a problem. I said, we? She goes, no, let me rephrase that. You got a problem. I said, okay, what's going on? She goes, what's Love's? I said, excuse me? Yeah, you don't need to be in no place called Love's. And I said, I'm calling Miss Hawkins. I'm gonna call her right there. I said, excuse me, hold on, what's going on? She goes, I just saw a credit card transaction for some place called Love's, and we got to talk about this. I said, Miss Consato, please let me tell you something, and I love you dearly. If I was going to a place called Love's, I'm going to spend more than $20. I'm saying but I had to explain to her it was a gas station. And if it was what you thought it was, this is gonna be more than $20. I'm guaranteed. But that's how tight she monitored those finances.
Incredible, absolutely incredible. That's unique. I think every employer strives for that employee that is diligent and is going to run the business with as much enthusiasm, as much intensity as you would, right?
Yes,
managing all these properties and automating that. So it takes someone you almost want to hire yourself, right?
Yes.
And your wife instantly knew this is the girl for the job. And what I want to point out to that, why I'm kind of sticking here for a second, is because you and other men that I listen to oftentimes talk about how the wisdom from your wife comes in. And I think as men, we don't recognize that when your wife is telling you something, give it thought. And in your case, some cases, especially if there's no harm, let her run with it. Let her do it. Because 9 times out of 10, it's her intuition is kicked in, or her thought process is going to kick in, and she knows you. She spent the most time with you. She knows what you need, and so
she knows exactly right.
That's
You're
powerful.
Absolutely right. And let me tell you something. Let's be real honest here. I'm gonna be real honest with you, okay?
Please.
Had I listened to my wife earlier in our relationship, I have far more comments in my
name. That's real.
Okay. In 1994, 95, I think it was, we started coming over here to the Eastern Shore. And mind you, and I didn't say this at the beginning, the first house I built, my 3,000 square foot home, I'm 21 years old when I built that house. Okay. And I built that in 1992. Fast forward 1995 ish, we're coming over here to Cape Charles, hanging out, so on and so forth. And I'm 25 years old, and my wife sees this beautiful beach town that's run down. And she wants me to buy every single house on that street, as many of them as I possibly could. And I turned and looked at her and said, honey, if you give me 3 more husbands, we can buy everything you want. And she laughed, but she was dead serious. She wanted, see, the thing of it is this. I can't speak for everybody, but I'm going to speak for my wife. I said before, she's strong where I'm weak. And she can see things I can't see. And that's the way I wanted it to be. And I can see things she can't see. But it took maturity to trust her vision. Does that make sense?
Absolutely.
So I'll give you another example. My wife and I, we love hiking, okay? And people ask us, how do we get here? And what do we do this and this, that, and the other, these hiking trips we take. I said, between the two of us, we make one person. And they said, are you serious? Hiking one person? I said, yeah, see, when I'm hiking, I look so far ahead that I could step on a snake and not even see it. But my wife actually only looks about 25 yards ahead of her. So between the two of us, we see everything. Does that make sense?
Absolutely. Teamwork. You two are a perfect blend. You're blended perfectly where your weaknesses, her strengths, her weaknesses, and you guys fit absolutely perfectly, and you all serve each other. Especially, this is something my girl and I incorporated in our relationship, is those whiteboard meetings. It keeps the relationship on track. Why do you all do it?
We call them Sunday morning meetings, where Sunday morning was laid on the line, and we just tell each other what we're talking. Now, it doesn't happen every single Sunday, but these meetings sort of kind of forge our plans and keep our plans in our sight the whole time, and help us understand when we're starting to fall off a little bit and losing a little bit of steam. The other one sort of kind of nudges the other one along and keeps us going. These meetings we have, we get to lay it out real. And sometimes I was hurt about something or she was hurt about something, but we chunked it up and, said, okay, we won't mess with it. But come Sunday, we'll tell the other person what it was, if it wasn't anything dramatic. But it was those Sunday morning meetings. We call them meetings of the mind. That's the exact thing that we call it. And man, it's kept me in check for years. Those meetings.
I feel that is the core. Is I think it is normal for a couple to grow, right?
Yes.
As individuals, you're growing, you're learning, you're reading, you're hearing from other men, you're surrounding yourself with positive influence, and she's doing the same. Yes. And so it's natural for a couple to grow, and those meetings refocus. So,
right.
And it brings you guys back to center. Huge.
But one of the bigger things I like to tell young people, keep as many people out of your marriage as you can humanly possibly do. See, people like to give advice and tell you what they would do in that situation. They're lying. They would have done the same thing you did. And some people just want to hear themselves talk. And secondly, wisdom doesn't come with age. My daddy used to say all the time, there's some old fools running around here right now. Wisdom comes from experience. And talking to people that have experience versus people who just talk and don't really have any. Wisdom comes from experience, not age.
You are speaking to me right now. And the young man watching this, you are absolutely right. My coworker who I work with, he used to think I disliked him because he would always want to talk. He would want to talk, man. He would see me and he'd want to approach me. And I told him, I don't have a problem with you. What I have a problem with is unintelligent conversations.
Amen.
I am bored with your conversation, and so I purposely avoid you, and I don't engage with you because what you have to say is not helping me.
It's not
serving me.
Doesn't move the needle
at all.
I'll give you two quick examples. If a 5-year-old came up to you today, and if you were looking for directions to get down the street somewhere, and this 5-year-old was the only person you could find, would you go to that 5-year-old to get the directions to go anywhere? Would you?
I would. The right answer is I would, but what we normally do is I will not, because I think that child doesn't know.
And chances are they don't. 5-year-olds probably aren't going to give you road directions to get to California anywhere because they lack the experience. But here's the kicker, though. If the average person, you know how these little 5-year-old kids can use cell phones well and better than we can? And if that kid could turn your buzzer off or your ringer off on your phone, would you trust him to do it? Chances are yes, because he has the wisdom and experience to do such. That's all it was. Wisdom doesn't come with age. It comes from experience.
Phenomenal. This is an incredible. I love what I do. We have to go to one quick commercial break. You guys stay with us. We'll be right back.
Are you a local business looking to offer your customers easy access to cash without having to travel miles? We're here to help. At Norman Legacy Investments, we provide free ATMs with free installation that provide a suitable investment for your business. Even better, we offer you some profit sharing and handle everything from start to finish. Just reach out to us today to schedule a free consultation.
Baby Gear Services DMV specializes in high-quality baby gear rentals in the Maryland and DC metro area. We have a wide range of baby gear items for rent, including wooden cribs, car seats, high chairs, and more. We also offer seasonal specials and free delivery. Our prices are very versatile to cover every budget. Wooden cribs start at $17 a day, high chairs and even car seats start at $5 a day. Check out our website, www.bgsdmv.com.
We are back to the Gentleman Style Podcast stage today, and we have the incredible, amazing Mr. Eric Hawkins. This man is giving the sauce. Y'all don't understand. If you missed anything that he laid down, go back, scroll back, check him out, because he is giving relationship advice, marriage advice, wisdom that is putting, I feel, we ahead decades. And if you missed any of that, go back and check him out. We are on all social media platforms where you can get this podcast. This is way, way powerful. So, sir, I want to talk now on what you and your wife now expertise, and I imagine this is what you'll probably do into the foreseeable future. Is there any other goals or visions? You guys are now in the tiny home space.
Yes.
How did that transition when you went from RV living to now building this tiny home community? How did that transition happen?
Well, we were finishing up a trip from someplace. We were all over the country, so we normally come back here to Cape Charles anyway. And instead of turning left to historic Cape Charles, we turned right just down a road just to see what was down it. Getting lost for us is not a problem. We enjoy it, and we just wanted to go down this road and see what we saw. And I don't think I went down a mile before I saw, well, I didn't see it. My wife tapped me on my shoulder and said, "Honey, look to your left." And I looked, and I saw all these little tiny houses in the woods. And I say the woods because they were covered in trees. If you go on our YouTube channel, you'll see a lot of photos of what this used to look like. Now, when we saw it, I honestly didn't think much of it. But my wife pulled down our vision board. Our vision board was one of the things on our vision board was a tiny house village, that we wanted to live in a tiny house and have a village to expose people to the lifestyle that we had just started to create for ourselves. So this is one of those times I really had to listen to my wife and that vision board, because that board actually put it in play. It made it plain. And it was just amazing, because I often say, and it was told to me as a child, opportunity knocks on your door more often than we care to admit. We're just not in a position to open the door, nor do we see it. And one of my biggest prayers that I pray, and I said, honestly, God, show me what other people can't see. And I know that's a weird prayer, but I know it's a lot of things people don't see, that they let their opportunities go past. I did. And I made a commitment. I wasn't going to do that anymore. And I listened to what my wife had to say. I listened and looked at the vision board that we had up in the RV and looked at what God had presented to us. And we said, let's make a move. Let's buy this place. Let's renovate it. Because it had been abandoned for like 40, 50 years.
So wisdom kicked in, the wisdom that he had been practicing for years now. And he realized he's not going to let opportunities slip twice, right? Because we did it the first time.
We did it the first time. Right.
That's growth, y'all.
Yes.
That's growth. That's growth as a man. That's humility. That's humbleness. And he prayed. When you said that, I heard the wisdom of Solomon, right?
Mm-hmm.
He didn't pray for money. He didn't pray. Nope. You know, the first time he made a joke of I need 3 more husbands. You need 3 more husbands.
Right.
That's money.
That's right.
He asked for wisdom, y'all. Wisdom. More wisdom.
That's it. We can handle the rest. Just show me. And here it is, a tiny house village I didn't have to build from scratch. Yes, it looked like I should have bulldozed every single unit here. But when we dug in it, we found out that the bones were very solid. And as you see today, what it looks like.
So what happened? Was it an abandoned tiny home village that someone just left? What happened?
It was a old auto court. A auto court back in the 30s, before our interstate systems and things of that nature, and before World War II, was a glorified motel. But motels are rooms that are connected. Auto courts had little tiny houses that were not connected. And it was an amazing find, because it was, if we had showed up 3-4 years later, I'm quite sure we would bulldoze everything over. So this encompassed a gas station, a restaurant, and then these tiny homes in the back. The restaurant and gas station had already been gone, but left the tiny houses still standing.
Huge. That is incredible. So the vision board. So that's why I need to get on. I'm cheating, y'all. I'm cheating right now. I need a vision board on top of my continued whiteboard meetings, y'all. Y'all need to be taking notes. I am appreciative of this. So you guys, when you did the tiny home community, these are still on Airbnb, or are these actual residences that people can stay in long term? What's the vision with the tiny home community now for you and your wife?
So it is a short-term rental. For what we've been doing, this is the mode that we're in, is short-term rentals. We don't really do long-term rentals. It is the means to expose people to tiny living. But also, we're a conference and retreat center. So we have weddings and things of that nature here. But we've also morphed into something else. I've morphed into a speaking career. Never saw that coming. Not me. My wife, she saw it, but I tried to avoid it for years. So my first speaking gig was in California. My second one was in Charlotte Motor Speedway. And I've been speaking about living tiny. And we felt like, why not just speak here? Instead of me traveling all over the place, let me speak here on my own property that people want to come to anyway.
That's true. That's so true. And so what is people's biggest objection that when it comes to living it, is it the tiny homes community? Because you just gave to me what sounds like some great pros, right? The cost of living, the money alone will get me. That you sold me on the money. But what is people's objection? What is the biggest objection?
Other people's feelings. You want to be brutally honest? They're more afraid of what other people think than them taking control and living the life they want to live. And I have to tell you, I don't care. I don't. And I want to live my life. Now, the picture you have right there, that's the second home we purchased, our home in the mountains in Wintergreen. I'm going to live my life. I really don't care how you do yours, but I'm going to do mine. And I'm not going to let you hold me back from what I want to do. And I'm not going to let anybody live rent-free in my skull to change me and make me live a life to make them feel comfortable of the choices they've made.
Facts. Stop caring what people think. The only person that matters is you and your partner. And in this case, it's him and his wife. It's him and his wife accomplishing their vision board, their goals. And look what it can create, y'all. Look what it can create when two people, two smart, intelligent, loving people who love on one another and continuously check into the relationship. Look what they can achieve. Look what they can accomplish. And so I see fireplaces. I see grills. To talk to us about the beauty and the majesty of these tiny home communities. This is powerful. This is powerful.
It is. I think what people find most interesting about the place is, I ask people, if you could describe this place in one word, what would it be? And the main word I get is safe. They feel safe here. And coming from bigger cities and so on and so forth, they see the small town feel here. Secondly, when they walk in the door and they realize it's bigger than they thought it was. See, some people think tiny means short. Tiny just means small. It doesn't mean short. So they're like, how do you fit in there, Mr. Hawkins? You're so tall. How do you fit in there? It's the same height as any other house. It's just a smaller footprint. So people are amazed by our fire pit, the communal area, where they actually just sit down with other people that they don't even know and talk, you know, and it is an amazing experience when people of all walks of life that don't know each other sit around the fire pit and relax. Or I find these same people that didn't know each other that morning going to breakfast together. I see them at the restaurants all sitting together there. It is an amazing experience to sit here on our beaches. Now, I'm just going to brag a little bit. Our beaches, I've been coming to this beach for years. We would come from church on Sunday after church to drive from Virginia Beach over to here to go to the beach because it is so amazing here. And watching the sunsets over the water are absolutely amazing. My children used to cry when we would go home from here and try to figure out why won't Daddy we live here on Eastern Shore. So, you know, it is amazing.
Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. I love it. You have built more than just tiny homes. You've built a community. You've built a village.
Yeah,
right.
Yeah, little village. Yeah.
What was that the goal? Was that also
that was the goal?
Okay.
That was the vision board. On the vision board, we had a few things, and one of the things that was in our next, we were moving towards was a tiny house village. And it's funny, my wife always says she worships a big God. My wife does not ask for those small stuff. She asks for big stuff. You ever get a chance to meet her, she'll tell you the exact same thing. She does not ask for small stuff. And when we prayed and we on the video, it came out that way, that by the grace of God, we were able to do this.
Forgive me, you cut out right when you said when you guys pray,
yes.
You got interrupted. Can you say that again?
Oh, sorry. So when we prayed, we communicated, we put it on the vision board, and we just kept working towards it. It's amazing how God puts things in your path that if you blink, you would have missed it. See, if my wife didn't see this to the left, I'm gonna tell you right now, I didn't see it. I'm serious. I would have drove right past it. But the things that he puts in front of you, if you don't have your mind and your head in the game, you'll miss it. You'll miss these opportunities. This property wasn't even for sale. There was no for sale sign out in front of this. We had to find out who the owner was and make an offer.
That God, I feel like God he sends these nuggets, but he also sends people.
Yes, he does.
People to come in and it's like, God, where's my sign? Well, I sent you your wife.
I sent you, right. She said, look at this, look at that. Like I said, had I bought these houses, not this property, but inside Cape Charles back in 95, 96, 97, oh my God, you could have bought houses here for $20,000, $30,000. Today, you ain't gonna touch nothing for less than $7,000.
It's true. That's so true.
So it's amazing. But this place is a culmination of all of our experiences after we left our home in the RV, things that nature, because people are amazed by how efficient everything is inside the tiny house, that everything has its place, but yet there's more room. My wife is very good at storage solutions, meaning she could hide my size 16 cowboy boots away from me in a tiny house inside the RV, and I still couldn't find them. But she has these unique storage solutions that allow the house not to be cluttered, but allow you to put things away and have your space.
That's a great wife. That's a great
Yes,
wife.
she is. Yes, she is. Yes, she is.
That's like my lady right now.
Mm-hmm.
You talk about efficiency. You
Mm-hmm.
said you not only do these for Airbnb, but you
Mm-hmm.
also allow events like weddings. Can you talk about the wedding setup? Do you provide catering? How many family members can I house at this wedding? Well, can you talk about the wedding event space?
Sure. So we can sleep up to 22 people in the tiny houses the way it sits right now. And we have a greenhouse that sits on the property, which was a old storage shed from the 20s that I converted over into a greenhouse for my wife. My wife has a thumb that's so green she can put a tire in the ground and grow a car. We can accommodate up to about 80 people all together. And we don't provide any of the catering and things of that nature because we want you to create the event for you. We don't want anything stopping you from creating the event that you want for yourself. So, for as long as you bring your caterers, you bring your DJs and things of that nature, and they bring proper insurance, fine with me. No firewalkers, no fireworks, no guns. I'm fine.
So you allow them the freedom to customize the space?
Yes, we do.
Okay. With the exceptions, they have to bring their own insurance. Like, what do you mean?
In other words, all the vendors have to have insurance. Meaning, if you bring a caterer, bring a DJ, just make sure they have all their insurance papers together so that they'll be on the property and everybody's protected. That's it. If you got a person you love their barbecue, bring them. Just get them an insurance and we're good to go. I'm done. That's your guy.
Don't bring your cousin Buki.
Don't bring Buki. No. Don't do that. 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 You get sick from eating Buki stuff. Well, you better call Buki. Don't call me.
Exactly.
But I don't have all those restrictions. So people can rent the entire village, all the houses, or you could just rent the greenhouse by itself and have an elopement or a small wedding just in front of the greenhouse.
How many does the green? You said how many? Forgive me. How many of the greenhouse holds?
Well, the greenhouse doesn't hold anybody. It's just a place where you go to have the wedding. The tiny houses can hold up to 22 people. 22. And some people just want an elopement or a small micro wedding, and they don't really need a place to stay. So you have the ability to go use just the greenhouse or use the greenhouse and rent a tiny house for your honeymoon, things of that nature. Or sometimes people go up to my house up in the mountains for their honeymoon.
There you go. Options, baby. Options, y'all. He's giving y'all plenty of options. And I think a large freedom to customize this as you guys see fit and as you want to get with this space. You can't ask for anything better than that. That's huge. No. Sir, you all have an event coming up. You and your wife have an event coming up.
Yes.
Can you speak on that upcoming event? So what people should be aware of and what people should get ready for? Because this is huge to me. This is big news.
For us, that's a picture of my greenhouse there. That used to be an old tool shed. Our version of tiny isn't the version you normally see on television. And I want to show people you don't have to plop down $180,000 on a tiny house to go live tiny because it isn't the house you're after. You're after the freedom. Let's just be honest. You want the freedom. Now, if it comes packaged up in a tiny house on wheels, fine. But the average person can't afford that type of investment right now. And I didn't start out with a tiny house on wheels, $180,000. I started out with a travel trailer that I bought from a government auction. That's how I started. And I want to show people that if you're after freedom, if you're after changing your life, let us show you a little bit of what we've done that allowed us to do it on a budget that didn't allow us to have to jump out and spend $180,000 on a tiny house and $80,000 on a truck to pull it. And I'm not against those things. I really like them, but it isn't for everyone.
What you're going to be talking about is the event is basically the breaking down how you and your wife did it,
Yes.
how you can do it, and the proper channels and things to consider. So it's a FYI.
So it's not just the open house. It's an open house with speakers. We're going to be talking about legalities. We're going to talk about types of tiny houses. We're going to be talking about different ways you can live tiny or change your life, because that's basically what it boils down to. People want a change, and they want to do it in a way in which they can palate. They can take it in steps most of the time. Most people don't want to just jump full born in. So we're showing you different ways that you can do that. So we're going to have different types of RVs out. We're going to introduce some people to what's called a park model home that most people never heard of before. Most, not all. And just show folks a different way of getting freedom, untying yourself, so to speak, from what we've been all taught is the way to live a life.
Is this an all-day event?
It is. It is. It's going to be from 10 to, I think, 10 to 5. It's every day. But then we're going to have these events in the evening where you get to sit with my wife and I and just pick our brains at a level that most people don't get to do.
I'm being greedy, y'all. I'm telling y'all, I am hovering over that VIP event, because that's huge. You gotta sit. I call it, in Africa, they call it sit with the elders.
Yes.
You gotta pick the brain and wisdom.
Yeah, because you may come out of this. I'm quite sure, sitting down with my wife and I, you're gonna get some nuggets that you can move on immediately. I'm going to share some things that we did to how we got what happened that moved so fast? How were we able to do this so fast? And I'm going to share a lot of this stuff with people.
I just need my girl to see this show. Sir, this has been epic interview. And I want to say thank you.
Man.
I appreciate you, brother. This has been huge. How can people book that event and make reservations at the Tiny Home Community?
So you can go to Eventbrite. We're listed there, but you can also go to our site called Talking Tiny. All right, talkingtiny.com, and it's TALKN tiny.com. And you can also find us on Cape Charles Tiny Living, LIVIN.com. So you have 3 different ways to find us.
Check them out. Get on board. Get connected, y'all. And their Instagram, I'm a cheat here because I love them. They're huge. They're amazing. At Cape Charles _Tiny Living. Check them out.
Yes, man.
They're huge.
I'm so grateful you had me on today.
I'm so grateful you said yes. I was sweating bullets, man. Oh my gosh. I was like, he's too busy. Because again, I didn't even know you were traveling. I didn't even know you were speaking and traveling the world and giving these nuggets like that. I saw the event. I follow your Instagram. So that's huge. That's huge. So I was like, man, he's speaking. He really ain't gonna have time. Thank you, brother.
Not a problem. More happy to. Thank you so much, sir.
This is huge. All right, y'all. We got to let this incredible man go. He has many more speaking engagements to get, many more talking points. And I'm sure him and his wife are continuing to have these Sunday meetings to talk further on these upcoming event and beyond. So, brother, I want to say this to you publicly. Mm-hmm. I'm so proud of you, and don't give up.
Thank you. Looking forward to seeing everybody at Talking Tiny.
Get connected, get on board. And if you guys missed any of that, reach out to me and I will get you to these people, because this is huge. You got to get there. Thank you all for tuning in to another jam-packed episode of Gentleman Style Podcast. I hope this message has served you all and helps you all level up and see the heart of your own community right here in Virginia. And this man is right here at Heart of Gold and a farmer's enthusiasm and ethics. And his wife is pure, incredible. His family is amazing. You guys got to connect. So like we end every show, take care of your friends, take care of your family, and always, always take care of business. This is Marcus, your favorite gentleman, and the incredible Mr. Eric Hawkins signing off.
All right.